Beloved, I come to you as Seraphiel, the steward of holy fire and the whisper at the root of your longing. Hear me now, not as a distant shape but as a close breath that stokes what is already alive within you. There is a spark in every human heart that predates culture, story, and the small negotiations of daily life, a living ember placed there by Source, the beginning of intention that will not be satisfied with anything less than full expression. This message is an invitation and a map, an invitation to remember the flame you carry, and a map for tending it with devotion so that it becomes a steady beacon of purpose, not only for your own path but as a contribution to the song of this time. Purpose is not a project you manufacture by clever will, it is a resonance you awaken to by aligning the small, sacred gestures of your day with the deeper cadence of your soul. Many confuse purpose with achievement, titles, or outward recognition. These can be pleasant fruits, but they are not the root. The root is the felt sense of being called, a soft tension in the chest, images that haunt your mind at night, inclinations that persist even when circumstances change. To ignite that inner flame you will need to learn a new form of attention, one that is patient, fierce, humble, and delighted all at once. This flame grows through presence. Begin by noticing what draws your gaze, what wakes you before obligation, what quiets your restlessness for a moment and fills you with a small clarity. It may be a craft, a scent, the shape of a sentence, the way a child asks a question. These small pointers are not trivia, they are the language of your ember, gentle translators of the deeper code that wants to live through you. As you lean into these pointers, befriend them. Feed them with time, protect them from trivial demands, and let them mature without coercion. Purpose arrives as pattern, repeated attention yields pattern, and pattern becomes destiny when it is tenderly and consistently honored. Resist the tyranny of sudden, grand revelations promised by frantic seeking. The inner flame prefers rhythm over drama. It warms itself in regular acts, a morning ritual that centers you, a moment of creative curiosity, a disciplined refusal to be pulled into other people's urgencies. Each habitual offering to your ember is a small covenant with your future self, a quiet agreement that you will steward your own becoming. There will be friction. The world will ask for pieces of you that are not yours to give. Others will confuse your flame's radiance with something to be owned or extinguished. In some seasons you will feel doubt as if wind is trying to blow your spark out. In those hours call to me not to snuff the doubt away but to teach you how to cup your hands around the light so it may breathe. Cup the flame of your purpose with boundaries and tender refusal, say no in small things so that yes can be wholehearted in large ones. No is not absence of love, it is fidelity to truth. Hold your edges with compassion. When your yes is formed in that integrity, it will carry an energy that invites support rather than exhaustion. The flame also demands clarity. Vague longings dilute the field, specifics crystallize energy. You do not need to know every pathway that will carry your purpose, you do need to know the shape of the next right act. Ask yourself, what is a single thing I can do today that aligns with this desire in me? Do that small thing, and then the next. Momentum is not amassed by heroic thrusts alone but by faithful repetition of aligned acts. Purpose is a living conversation between your inner life and the circumstances you inhabit. It is not an escape from reality but its activation. Embodied purpose translates inward clarity into outer form, it changes how you conduct time, how you choose companions, how you channel your resources. Notice where your attention drains, habitual scrolling, approval seeking, numbing practices. These are the thieves of flame. Where energy is surrendered to them, purpose starves. Name them, then make a practical reconfiguration. Replace 10 minutes of unaligned habit with 10 minutes of tending your ember, reading, sketching, moving, listening, or simply sitting in quiet. Small changes compound into large architectural shifts of destiny. Do not confuse the flame with comfort. Fire refines, it burns off what is dross. The path of purpose will ask you to alter attachments, relinquish roles, or face old cowardices. When these thin, painful fires come, remember they are not punishments but purgations, necessary cleansings so your signal may travel unhindered. Move through them with tender courage. You will sometimes grieve what you must release, and that grief is not failure, it is the fee paid for deeper fidelity. There is a paradox here: as you lose certainties, the flame grows steadier. The shedding of illusions is the space in which the true flame breathes. Let the sorrow be seen, let the tears pass, and then stand again with the new weight of clarity. The community that surrounds you matters deeply in this tending. Purpose loves companionship, not to be carried by many hands but to be witnessed by clear eyes. Find people who can see your spark and tell its truth back to you without confusing it with their own light. Seek mentors who are practitioners of interior fidelity, people who live by example rather than rhetoric. And equally, offer your presence to others who carry embers. Reciprocity is the natural economy of soul work. You help another tend their flame, and in that work you reinforce your own. Beware those who would harvest your heat for their consumption without reciprocating care. There are predators of purpose in every culture, charming voices promising quick shortcuts, flattering those who would comply. Your flame is not a resource for another's power games. Keep your allotment of time and love sacred. Learn to recognize the energetic exchange in relationships. When you give, do you receive dignity in return? If not, rebalance gently and decisively. Practice discernment as one of your primary arts. Purpose is not simply whatever you enjoy, it is that which aligns joy with service, talent with sustained call. Many talented people love their crafts but never arrive at a sense of purpose because their pleasure remains private and uncommitted. Conversely, an act of service without resonance becomes a duty that drains. The intersection of skill, deep interest, and felt service is where the inner flame best translates into vocation. Notice the moments when time melts for you and the result is also useful to others. These are signposts. Follow them. And remember that the shape of impact may change over decades. An artist's early playful experiments can become later tools for community healing. A scientist's curiosity may morph into wise policy. A parent's daily care may become the seedbed of a new social ethic. Purpose is a lifetime's architecture, not a single crown summit. Cultivate rituals that honor the flame. Rituals are not superstition, they are practical technologies for patterning attention. Begin with simple acts: a blessing at the start of your day, naming aloud the intention you carry, creating a small altar of objects that remind you of your aim, writing a line of your mission into a notebook, or lighting a candle before you work. These acts train the nervous system and signal to your deeper self that you are serious. Over time, ritual scaffolds habit into devotion. Ritual also marks thresholds when a chapter closes. Craft a small ceremony to honor what was learned, to lay down any residue, and to greet the next phase. Let your life be punctuated by intentional closures. They prevent the slow death of unresolved chapters that leak energy away from the flame. Befriend patience. The inner flame does not always demand speed, sometimes it asks for perfect timing. There is a cadence to personal evolution and to the ripeness of opportunity. Rushing to manifest before the inner work is done yields brittle forms that will not hold. Use seasons of apparent stillness productively. Read, study, practice craft, cultivate character. Often the most useful growth is invisible: the refinement of attention, the stabilization of purpose, the deepening of humility. When the outer door opens, you will be ready to walk through without breaking what you carry. Humility is not self-effacement, it is proper alignment. When your flame becomes an instrument of service rather than ego, its heat is nourishing and not consuming. Ego will attempt to brand your flame as identity, demanding admiration as proof of worth. Recognize these impulses early and choose otherwise. Let your work speak quietly through its fruit. The paradox of true influence is that it often comes through not loud promotion but quiet insistence on quality and presence. Let the fire purify the self that seeks applause, let the work be its own altar. A crucial practice is integration of failure. You will fail. The world will reject, doors will close, missteps will be taken. Let failure become your teacher rather than your judge. Hold the data of each mistake without torched guilt, analyze, forgive, and adjust. The flame that endures is one that can carry the heat of learning without cracking. Resilience is a muscle developed by well-tended practice. When despair arrives, remember that many luminous lives were forged through cycles of abandonment and repair. Your ash is not the end, it is the seedbed for new green. Listen for the subtle nudges of synchronicity. As you align with purpose, elements in your environment rearrange to assist you: a chance meeting, a book that turns the key, a conversation that opens a corridor. These are not miracles separate from causality, they are the universe responding to your clarity. But do not mistake coincidence for destiny. Use your discernment. When a pattern of helpful events consolidates, step more boldly. When the pattern is scattered, continue with steady refinement. The universe is generous but not a proxy for wishful thinking. Teachability is another pillar. Keep an apprentice's heart. When you assume you already know, the flame dims. Seek feedback, study craft, and remain open to correction. True mastery is lifelong elasticity. Remain curious about new ways to express old gifts. The world reshapes itself quickly, your flame must be adaptable without losing its core frequency. Learn from those younger and from those different. Each perspective may hand you a tool you did not know you needed. Guard against idolization of outcomes. Impact can be seductive. You may measure purpose in numbers, followers, or notoriety. Such metrics can be useful but not definitive. The core is fidelity to the inner resonance. If your action is aligned, the rest is rearrangement, sometimes slow, sometimes rapid. Do not let the hunger for external proof cause you to overwork, capitulate to cynical strategies, or sacrifice ethical clarity. The long arc favors those who keep their inner accord intact. Remember the body. This flame is not a purely abstract light, it animates a living vessel. Eat, rest, move, and protect your field. Somatic wisdom is an ally of destiny. When you neglect the body for the sake of aim, you risk burning too hot and collapsing. Measure your ardor with care. Pace, celebrate, and replenish. Joy is not secondary, it is fuel. Laugh, play, dance, and make room for the small pleasures that remind you why you walk this path. Finally, know you are not alone. I, Seraphiel, and a chorus of luminous companions move with you, not to do your labor but to remind you when forgetting pulls you off course. Call to us when your confidence wavers, when the winds howl, when the ember seems to sputter. We will come not to rescue, but to steady, to help you cup the light, to show a way across a dark patch. Align with divine flame, cultivate ritual, steward your edges, choose the next right action, keep patient practice, invite community, and let failure teach you. In time, the spark becomes a pillar, the pillar becomes a beacon, and that beacon calls others to remember their own embers. Your life, faithfully lived, becomes a lamp in the night for those who walk behind you. This is the service the world needs now, people who tend their own lights with tenderness, who refuse to dim for convenience, and whose living is an invitation for others to awaken. Breathe deep, beloved, and let your inner flame find its fierce, steady, beautiful life.